Harry here to talk about another travel ban drama as we had in the first Trump term, this time involving at least 12 countries who are, the administration has now determined people from there may not go based on the conditions in office. So this is a fruition of an order that Trump made on his very first day, in which he told his cabinet members, but especially the Secretary of State, give me a list of countries that we really can't even vet and screen, so to be sure people who come here are safe to come. So really, it's a standing assumption based on nationality. I don't care if you've got the Nobel Prize in one pocket and the designation of saint status in the other. If you are from Sudan, you can't come in. And there are 12 countries on this list, and they are Afghanistan, Myanmar, which is also known as Burma, Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, which interestingly we are sending some deportees to, and Yemen. Now remember, this got fought the first time around, and they got beat, the Trump and the administration, twice before a third travel ban was upheld. But we called the first travel ban the so-called Muslim ban because it was very thinly camouflaged. It was clear that this was basically part of Trump's xenophobic war, especially on Islam, and keep people from there out. And that got struck down. Then it got struck down also for the way they did it. But the third one did get upheld. It had different kinds of countries and the like. Presumably they've learned their lesson, and presumably they'll try to have it on the same footing as they finally successfully did last time around. But for sure it's going to be challenged, including as just being irrational. How can you do this categorically? But he now has some precedent for saying that he can. By the way, there are other countries that, in addition to the 12, that are going to face partial restrictions for coming here: Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela, which is figuring so integrally in the actual Alien Enemies Act litigation. He, in some ways, the White House has played it to be an outgrowth of the horrendous anti-Semitic flamethrower attack in Boulder, Colorado. The person there was an alien, not entitled to be here, as was his family, but from Egypt, which is not one of the countries listed. So why there should be any connection is mystery. Anyway, we're going to soon be fighting this out in court, as is kind of night follows day in the United States and under Trump. But with a real prologue in place. In other words, all the things that happened first time around. So it feels kind of xenophobic. It certainly has this feeling of playing to the base about these, wild, feral countries out there that will come here, and as part of the false, let me say again, false narrative that Trump has propounded about, say, the Venezuelan people, that they're terrible rapists and murderers and marauders. It turns out the vast majority have no crimes other than their papers being inadequate. But anyway, it plays into that narrative, and he has put it together so it has the maximum chances of passage, even though it smells like a kind of xenophobic undertaking. There's also going to be some practical detriments to the U.S. presumably. These countries, I'm sure, do send people who play important roles in education system. Of course, that's a whole nother area that Trump is taking a chainsaw to. But the basic idea: if you're from these 12 countries, you can't travel to the United States or be admitted. If you're from 7 others, there's going to be real restrictions on you. And the U.S. is going to say it has to do with the state of play in these countries and things being just too much unsettled, Wild West-like to determine that it's safe for people to come. So not on the sort of outright racial or national origin grounds, but specific country particular determinations, and that's what will be fought out in court in the coming weeks and months. But for now, absent a stay, you're from one of those countries, you're not welcome on these shores. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.